Meeting Monday the 20th of October. Attendance is everybody. Yes, no apologies. Table of contents is as is. I don't have to read that statement out anymore, do I? I haven't got it now anyway. Yeah. In the interest of everybody, please be respectful. Okay, table of contents, no changes. Acknowledgement of country. We acknowledge and pay our respects to the Tasmanian Aboriginal community as the traditional and original owners and continuing custodians on this land in which we gather today, and acknowledge elders past and present. Does anybody have any declarations of interest?
Yes.
Councillor Terrett.
Proposed Council meeting 3.5, dispute resolution, Councillor Terrett against General Manager.
Councillor Andrews.
Open Council 7.7.2. 7.2.2, sorry.
Anybody else? I have information items 5.3.1 and 8.16. Councillor
And
Lambert.
I have info items 5.3.1.
Okay. Well, we don't have to accept them or do anything, do we? Confirmation of the minutes from Monday the 18th of August, because that was carried over from last meeting. Been confirmed, Councillor. Yeah, the one prior to 18th of August. The prior one. I'll move around to seconder I need.
Yeah.
Councillor Andrews. And Councillor Adams is seconding.
Ask a question.
Councillor Terrett, yes.
I noticed in the officer's recommendations that it says that the option was not approved. Was not approved by council, or was it not approved by the officers? Under the officers' comments, I just need clarification on that. End of the first paragraph of officers' comments.
There is no conflict between the 23-25 council decisions. The 23 motion required revisiting the JMG option 2, not implemented, and only called for a timeline if the option was approved. The option was not approved.
And clarifying who didn't approve it.
I'm not sure. Take it as notice.
Yeah, I'd have to take it on notice. Yeah, I'm not sure. Unless Christy,
Council.
Is that related to the Sticky Beaks corner?
yeah, that's it. Yeah. Well, council didn't approve it, obviously.
I can't find a resolution to that effect.
Right, okay, I'll check it. Unless DSG didn't approve it. We'll take that on notice, just to clarify that.
Randy?
Oh, sorry, my fault. There was a bit of noise, so I thought maybe. Okay, well, I'll put that recommendation. All those in favour? Against?
Yes.
Carried. Councillor Terrett's against, and motion's carried. Confirmation of the meeting minutes from Monday the 15th of September. Will I move around to seconder? Councillor Andrews. For last meeting's minutes, Councillor Adams. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Confirmation of the special council meeting the 25th of September. Councillor Lambert. And who would like to second that? Councillor Terrett. All those in favour? Against? Carried. The date of the next council meeting is Monday the 17th of November. Motions by a councillor, motions on notice. We have a motion on notice around the recruitment of a community services manager. The officer's recommendation is that council, in accordance with its workforce plan, prepare a prioritised list of proposed new staff positions with the addition of a community services manager and department and the associated costings for consideration during the 26-27 council budget deliberations. Now, Councillor Terrett put this motion, so Councillor Terrett, it's up to you what motion you wish to move.
I'll move it as per the officer's recommendations. Whilst normally this is an operational matter, any discussions on the recruitment and new departments should be a decision for the whole council, and therefore I'll go with the officer's recommendations.
And do I have a seconder? Councillor McCullough. Councillor Terrett, do you wish to speak to it?
The reason I brought this to council was council conducted some quite extensive community consultation into a number of strategies. And as councillors know, that I asked a couple of questions in relation to various events that were occurring, and also our strategies and where they're up to. The comment has been that we don't have a community services manager or division that will do that type of work. Now, I believe the council, in their commitment to do those strategies, made it very clear that those strategies were important to this council. Council's more than roads, rates and rubbish. It's about community building and community development. And I see this as a very key position within the organisation. We've already been told that governance and is pretty much under the pump all the time. I think specialising, having somebody who is focused on community services and community development is important, particularly with the new proposed changes to the Local Government Act, which do have a much more focus on community wellbeing. And therefore, I think this is a very crucial position and division that the council currently doesn't have, but needs to have.
Councillor McCullough, you second, you wish to speak?
Yeah, I just want to suggest that this would be a good conduit to probably change the culture around the place and bring the community closer to the council. So I'm supportive of Councillor Terrett.
Any further comment from anybody? Councillor Andrews?
I'm pleased that Councillor Terrett decided to go with the officer's recommendation, and therefore I'll support that motion. I couldn't have if he'd gone with his original motion, because I think that it's probably being a bit I've lost my word. It's probably being a bit hypocritical, and it's also
what you say, Councillor Andrews.
And it's also looking at the staff and saying that we're not aware of what they do already. The reason why I would have found the second motion a bit difficult to agree with, the first motion, sorry, the original motion, was that we've not long passed a budget, only 2 or 3 months ago. And that budget was, there was a lot of discussion to get to where we did with that budget. And there were a couple of people around the table in particular who fought to keep the budget increase down, quite rightly, for the sake of the ratepayers. But it took a lot of discussion to try and get to that situation where we could have the budget increase that we eventually passed. And there was a lot of scrutiny of what council's charges were going to be for the next year and how we could make savings, etc. And one of the areas that were looked at on several occasions were staff numbers, and whether we had too big a staff and whether we would have to actually look at staff cuts. So to come from, only 3 months ago having those really serious discussions about budgets and how we were going to manage the budget, to saying that we need to appoint now a new staff person, a new community manager, I found a little bit difficult to get my head around. So this second motion delays that so that we can look at it in terms of the whole budget and look at perhaps doing that when we can afford it. So I'll support the motion that stands.
Any further discussion? Yes, Councillor Adams?
Thank you, Mayor. I support the officer's recommendation. It's hard to take one position out of all the others that are competing. In the report it says that the community services manager or community services that we give into the community is important, and we need to make sure that that's so. But so is engineering, to make sure that we are meeting our obligations. And we have to. We had a list some time ago about all the different acts that we have to comply with. That's pretty extensive. So it's about competing, and it's about looking at it in a whole, looking at our council services in a whole. And so I look forward to the report coming back to us so that we can do that in a budgetary context, because we need to do that.
Councillor Archer.
I agree with what the last two speakers said. I would like to see a review of the budget halfway through the year to see whether this is even possible looking at last year's budget. I think the staff costs went from 6 million to 10 million in 2 years, and for staff to increase and keep that figure under control, I think it's going to be very, very difficult. I've been around a long time and seen lots of strategies developed, and we've got 6 here, I think, we're looking at. So we can't expect to do everything on our present budget. So I'd be looking at a review of the budget around Christmas time, a bit after, and if looks like it's going okay, we'll be quite happy for officers to forge ahead. At this stage, I have some reservations about the cost of the staff in total, and this, to me, is not going to help that.
Any further discussion, Councillor Lambert?
Yeah, just clarification. We are looking at this for consideration during the 26-27 budget, not the current budget.
At the moment, yes. Councillor Goss.
Just speaking about the budget, remember last budget we have a deficit of over $1 million, so that means that we spent more than $1 million than what we had. So we didn't actually meet a budget, we just kept on spending more money, and this will make that figure grow even more. So that's just a reminder, please. $1 million.
Following the state government.
Councillor Adams, you've already had your say, sorry. Councillor Brooks, you didn't wish to speak? Right. Councillor Terrett, do you wish to sum up?
Just very quickly, I hear what councillors are saying about the budget. It's a matter of prioritising what things we should be putting our money into. Regrettably, our budget went up quite substantially for employee costs, and I acknowledge that. But as a councillor, we had very, very little say in where those employees were being placed. This motion will at least give councillors a say in what are the priority positions that need to take place. I believe community services and looking after and developing our communities is an important aspect. We had Senior Citizens Week just last week, and it was just disappointing that we had very limited activity, and I look forward to this matter coming back to council with a report.
Make a comment that we have just recently employed a new youth officer, and hopefully she will have some spare time to do some more projects, probably not to obviously to this level, but at least have a little bit of scope to do some more projects in this community area.
I'm going to put that recommendation. All those in favour? Aye. Against? Carried. Okay, number 6, we don't have any questions on notice. So number 6 is the council committees, the confirmation of their minutes, and the recommendation is that the following minutes of the meetings of council committees be received.
I'll move the recommendation.
Adams and Councillor Lambert. All those in favour? Aye. Against? Carried. From those committees, we have some recommendations. The Avondale District Committee has a recommendation around Pioneer Park, the presentation for sequencing of works, and the officer's recommendation is that council notes the committee's request and refers them to the decision at the September 2025 council meeting.
Yeah.
Councillor Terrett, you're moving that.
I'll second.
And Councillor Lambert is seconding. All those in favour? Aye. Against? Carried. Also, Avondale, recommendation around speed reduction in Avondale shopping precinct, hopefully to 40 kilometres an hour. That's what they would like. The officer's recommendation is the council support in principle the reduction of the posted speed limits subject to additional investigation. Councillor Lambert and Councillor Terrett. All those you wish to speak?
Just
yes.
very quickly, I'll be looking forward to the investigation by the officers. This is a very tight corner, and it's used for buses and various other large pieces of vehicles coming out, and it is a dangerous corner, particularly on a Sunday, which is the next motion.
You didn't wish to say anything? Sorry, I should have asked you first.
I think we've been looking at this for a number of years now, and we haven't been able to come up with the right solution. I think this might be a way of sorting out some of those issues that we have at Evandale, particularly on Sundays. So I think it's a great motion that the district committee's put through, and I commend them for the motion.
There's times when you can't even do 40.
Well, that's another reason why it should be 40.
Councillor Goss.
Have we got any data on accidents in the area or anything like that? Before I've made a decision, I'd like to know if there's any accidents happening or whether they got, every week they're having accidents there. That's something really important to know. But if they haven't had any there, that's another something that's really important to know.
And that's why the recommendation said subject to additional investigation, so that we can get a bit of data and,
So what it's asking us to do though is support the in principle, but we haven't got the data yet though.
Subject to
Additional
additional investigation. That means get data.
I'm not sure. Will that come back for us before we vote on it again then?
Yes.
Yes, cool, thank you.
Okay, I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Also, Evandale, heavy vehicle access along Rogers Lane and Murray Street to Macquarie Street. And the officer's recommendation is the council notes the recommendation and directs officers to investigate the issue. Councillor Terrett, you're moving.
Second.
Councillor Lambert seconding. I'll put that, any discussion? I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Evandale, restriction of parking, Rogers Lane to Murray Street on a Sunday. Officer's recommendation is that council notes the recommendation and directs officers to investigate the issue. Councillor Terrett and Councillor McCullough. Any discussion? Councillor Adams.
These issues have been here a long time. Maybe we're going to have to in the future look at getting someone to do a study for us on what can be done. We did come up with some ideas on parking and things like last time, but off-street parking, maybe council needs to look at this in a serious way, because this is a very, the market is important and it's an institution now. And, there's a lot of traders go in there and do things. And so maybe we need to look at it in a way of getting someone to do a study in the future. I'm not putting a notice of motion on or anything. I'm just saying something that I think we should consider in the future.
No further discussion. I'll put that recommendation. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Longford District Committee, they have a recommendation around Illawarra Road Scenic Road Corridor, a mural. Their officer's recommendation is that council notes the committee's recommendation and seek initial advice from the Department of Growth. Councillor Terrett?
And I'd like to move a separate motion.
Yes.
Because I'd like to know what the owner of the lands feels about this before I go any further as well. So in addition to the Department for State Growth and the loan owner.
And Councillor McCullough, you're seconding that? Any discussion?
Yes,
I'll just ask Councillor Terrett first. Councillor McCullough, Councillor Goss.
Oh, very quickly.
Oh, yes.
Yes. I think this is a brilliant idea to come out from the community. It will capture some of the history of the motorsports of Longford. It's basically an ugly old water tank that's sitting on the Illawarra Road. Would make it a very nice addition to Longford's history, and also if we ever get our shared footpath, a nice thing to be walking past. And I really commend the Longford District Committee for putting this up.
Councillor McCullough?
Yeah, I looked at it today. It'll be fantastic. I'm assuming that some trees will have to probably come out of there. Is that Councillor Terrett?
Yeah, I think the next stage of the Illawarra Road, there will be a cleaning out of that area anyway. It will be a lot more exposed, I think, with the...
It's certainly covered up at the moment, so I think that, did you want to add that, or was that too infantile at this stage?
That's going to happen anyway.
It's gonna happen.
All right, okay, that's all. I'm just saying that the trees will probably need to come out, which is taken care of, so I think it'd be fantastic.
Councillor Goss?
It doesn't belong to Taswater anymore, that?
No.
Thank you.
Councillor Brooks?
Yeah, it's a great initiative from the
Sorry,
district,
I didn't see in a hand, sorry.
from the district committee. Most of us are all already aware of the one in Avoca. It's fantastic, and you see a lot of people there looking at that. It's a great asset to the town, and I'm sure that this one, if it gets the go-ahead, will be instrumental in bringing the history of Longford motorsport, horse racing, whatever goes on there, will be like a landmark for Longford.
Councillor Lambert.
I was just going to mention, Councillor Brooks has mentioned it as well, about how it has, the mural at Avoca has transformed Avoca. It's become a tourist attraction and a point of interest. It's got huge publicity for that small town, and even to the point where I think, you know, there are other businesses starting to move in and do some good things in Avoca because of that popularity of it. So I think it's a great thing, but I think, you know, we do need to talk to the owner and, you know, respect their wishes on these things as well.
Councillor Adams.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we need to get to see if it's possible. But if it isn't possible on the water tower, maybe there's another area, or we can make one that can go up somewhere that would bring that history together. That would be worth considering as well. But there's a bit to find out what we're going to do.
And I think I can also say we're hopefully getting a bit closer to getting the Cressy one, a mural on that. The Cressy one that goes down to the little landing where you can fish and boats and so forth.
Quarry Street.
Yes. Okay, I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Oh, sorry. From Longford, around the smell, odour. Thank you. You passed the recommendation, yes, Councillor Adams and Councillor Terrett seconding. Any discussion? No, yes, Councillor Adams.
We did have some discussion in shops, so I think we covered it there, and I think we'll move in that direction. And I think, it's whether we spend a lot of money on equipment and things like this that we need to know how we're going to achieve an outcome, and that's what we're going to do.
Councillor Brooks.
Yeah, I think we've been kicking the can down the road for far too long with the odours around Longford. Ever since I've been on council, this has been a burning sensation throughout the town. And it's about time that we're on the front foot like we are and really ramping this up to find out what solutions there is to the smell in Longford. We're all well aware that we're starting to get into the warmer weather here shortly, and the odours seem to be more intense on the hotter days. So it'll be good to work out what we can do, what we can't do, and try and put this to bed once and for all.
And for those listening, I'll just read out the recommendation from the officer. The council acknowledges the community's ongoing concerns regarding the intermittent odour in Longford and supports the engagement with the EPA, JBS, Taswater and other stakeholders. Councillor Terrett.
Yeah, just speaking very quickly, this is not a new issue, and those living in Longford have had this going on for way too long. The state government has really let us down as a community in relation to the odour, and something needs to be done. You know, we've had promises. The EPA should be out there in the forefront of this, and these discussions, I think, are crucial, and we need to solve this problem. It's just unacceptable, particularly in the summer months, of the stench that goes through what is one of our lovely country towns. For anybody coming and visiting, the stench can be quite horrific.
As with foggy times too.
Yeah.
All right, I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour? Against? Carried. I'll get those.
I'll move the recommendation.
I'm going to step out for two of them, so you can. We'll move the recommendation for. Apart from that one, I think Councillor Lambert's stepping out for the same one as me.
No,
Hang on.
you're talking in
5.3.1 not in committee, in the open council. Yep, and I'm stepping out also for 8.16.
Okay, so
Yes,
we'll
do all except those. It's nobody else with interest in information item. Okay. Councillor Adams, you said you were moving?
I'll move the recommendation that
Yes.
information items be received.
Yes. Except for those ones, yes. And councillor Brooks is seconding. Any questions about the other items? Yes, councillor Lamb?
Comment,
Yeah.
just in regard to the tourism events one. Oh,
I'll be
Is that the one you
I'll be
set
out
out
for that
for?
one, so you can come back in and ask that question then.
okay, I'll do that.
No other questions? Okay, I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour? Against? Carried. So we'll both step out for that one and then you can come back and.
We'll have to.
Chair. Ooh, sorry. Oh, didn't we vote? Oh,
Let's go, yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, you've got a chair.
Both going, yeah.
Oh, here it is, yes, there's about 5.3.1, that's why. That's what
I'll tell you which one they No, I don't think it's that one.
Oh, it's that one there. Lift the tone.
No, it's not, it's on the bottom of page 26.
Does it matter?
Oh, the bottom one, is it? Yes, yeah, the bottom one, clarify the 11,000.
Where is it?
So, someone like to move, we accept the information item 5.3.1.
I'll move that way, just. I'll move that
Yep.
way.
I'll second it.
Councillor Terry, second Councillor Adams. All those in favour? No discussion, obviously? No?
I was going to say, what does it mean? Does it mean, can we have a bit of information on it? Looks like it's finished this time, is it?
Yes, well, obviously the first, it's sort of in two sections. The first part of it is circumstances surrounding repayment of $11,000 legal costs, which council had received legal advice on previously. And the second one was the in relation to employment, seek advice regarding employment law, the elements for the council as the employer of the general manager, and that has been superseded by different matters, so that's also finished.
And what about the 11,000? They don't have to pay that, do they? Or
No, that was repaid,
Repaid.
and we got legal advice, so that one's
Has been-
closed as well. Yep.
So can this be removed as an information?
Yes, that's why it's shaded out. It's a closed item.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is there any other item I need to do?
No, we need to get them back in and then.
It's not
Oh,
tourism, is it?
Oh, we haven't voted
Oh,
yet?
have
Right,
we?
okay. Moved by Councillor Terry, seconded by Councillor Adams. All those in favour?
Aye.
This is receiving. That's what we did vote.
There was 8.16 that Mary said that she
The
had to be.
tourism
Yeah,
one.
but Janet will have to come back in for that one.
We've done it.
Very well, Chair.
Ooh, beautiful job.
Now we need to do the
1.6.
We've received all of it. We've received the money.
No, we left that one out too.
We've got one more to do, one on with it.
What is it, 8.6?
So can we have sorry, Chair, 8.16, do we have a mover to accept that? Oh, on page 34.
Tourism and Events and Heritage Highway Tourism Regional Association. Update.
Move, councillor Terrett, second, councillor Adams. Any comments, questions? I'd just like to bring up one thing, if I may then. just in regards to the Ross Running Festival, approximately 530 participants. Just a little note that has been put in here talking about the reinforcing the values of events to the Northern Midlands community, and they wanted us to note the following, which were the details provided by the organisers of the Ross Running Festival, that this year's event introduced the Pink Bibs to fundraise for the Ross Pink Supporters Inc. And that's a local cancer support group in Ross, and they raised over $1,600, and that was donated to various Ross community groups, which I think is fantastic. And I think what it does is it just shows that beautiful community spirit down there at Ross, and I just wanted to highlight that and to highlight the great work that that group's doing down there to support victims of cancer. So,
Might do the marathon next year.
all right, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you.
Goodbye. Okay, no public here at the moment for public question time, so we'll just move straight into planning.
There's no public.
No public in this meeting.
Very unusual.
Very unusual. Yeah, for a long time since that
Feels
happened.
right for a change.
Okay, we'll move into as a planning authority. Councillor Lambert, Councillor McCullough, all those in favour? Against? Carried. And we can go straight to planning one, which is the Species Hotel, 54 Chiswick Road, Ross. Councillor McCullough, you're moving, and Councillor Adams is seconding. Councillor McCullough, do you wish to speak to?
Yeah, I think it's a great thing. I've never heard of a species hotel until I read this a couple of days ago, and so I think it's a fantastic thing. I think it's good for the community. I notice there's a couple of objections there, but I don't think they're anything major to concern ourselves with. It's all made out of natural product. It's enhancing the flora and fauna, I guess. So yeah, no, I'm supportive of it.
Very popular on the governor's visit.
Absolutely. We took the governor there. Yes. Councillor Adams, you wish to speak?
And, yes, we've had issues where there's a major report done by an academic on the striping bandicoot because they've been losing out, and the issue of cats, especially feral cats. So these things are pretty important to keep the habitats back and get a focus, I think, more on those feral cats, which are more of a problem, I believe, than the urban cats. But so I think it's an initiative here, and I'm glad the planning department could handle it.
Councillor Archer.
Look, I did read one representation where they thought the ones that deteriorated and are falling down. I haven't seen them, but I do think when you do these things, there is a bit of an obligation to maintain them and tidy them up if they fall down. So that's my only suggestion, that there is a plan to look after the present ones and obviously these new ones as well.
Councillor Terrett.
Yeah, look, I hear what Councillor was saying, and also note the representation, and particularly the flood concerns. And the people of Ross have a real concern about anything on that floodplain, and it's heightened through the representations that have taken place. I know that that's not a grounds for knocking this back, so therefore I'll be voting in favour of it. But I think we have to be very conscious of any type of flood, anything that can affect that floodplain, such as planting of trees and so forth in the potential flood area.
Any further discussion? I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Planning 2 is 117 Main Street, Cressy, a request to amend the planning permit for the change of use to visitor accommodation. And we have a officer's recommendation that the permit be amended pursuant to section 56 of the Land Use Planning Approvals Act 1993, so that the permit reads as follows. This permit allows for the land at 117 Main Street, Cressy to be developed and used for a change of use to workers' accommodation, communal residences, subject to conditions. Councillor McCullough, you're moving that recommendation.
I think we would like to add some,
Yes.
after the discussions in the workshop and with councillor Archer's points he raised, I think that we would like to extend the hard surface to point one, what was it, 162.85, leaking.
Yes, thank you. So, yeah, following the workshop, we drafted some conditions which are up there and highlighted now, which does, 162.85, extending the hard surface to, and requiring the remainder of the driveway and parking areas to be surfaced with gravel.
All weather.
Conditions, yeah.
Councillor Brooke, no, I needed a seconder, sorry, we've got Councillor Adams is seconding, okay. Councillor McCullough, do you wish to speak to it first?
No, I think we've touched on that. I think the driveway was the major concern. I think we've touched on that and fixed it, so I'm happy.
Yes, and Councillor Adams, did you want to speak to it?
I'm pleased to see that it's, we've got to where it's on all weather parking areas and the rest of the driveway. I think that's a standard that we shouldn't drop, and so I'm pleased to have that in the recommendation.
Councillor Brooks.
So I wasn't here for that talk on the workshop. So what does 3.1 mean? What's it changed to from what it was, please?
Yeah, so the recommendation was that the driveway be sealed for around about 40 metres, which was shown on the site plan. At the workshop, the discussion was that it should be sealed further to reduce dust impact. And so that's what 3.1 is now. It's having that driveway sealed further to a point shown 162.85. Plus there was discussion that the existing unsurfaced driveway wasn't sufficient standard, so it's now requiring that to be a new layer of gravel placed over.
So rather than spray seal, it's now a proper layer of asphalt. Is that what you're saying there?
So the driveway can still be spray sealed, which is obviously a hard surface. So say roughly half of the driveway can be spray sealed or asphalt, and the remainder will be gravel.
Spray sealed.
So also, was there some talk about stormwater? What was the go with the stormwater again?
Yeah, so the permit as it stands requires all of the driveway and car parking to be hard surface. And hard surface has to be drained to the stormwater system. The applicant provided levels from their surveyors showing that they couldn't drain it all by gravity to the stormwater system. And that's why they were asking for that condition to be changed, so that only part of it is hard surface, which can drain to the gutter, and the remainder then will be gravel, which doesn't need to be drained to the system.
Thanks for that. Yep.
Councillor Archer.
Yes, I think basically we need to get as much water off the block to the street as we can afford to with gravity, and as speakers have said before, that doesn't mean that the rest of it doesn't need to be a weatherproof surface. And also, I think being a change of use, there might be some loss of control perhaps over the people and their driving habits, so I think it is necessary for that extra seal.
Councillor Goss.
Yeah, my concern is there's no mention in the report about bus parking in there. Something that goes hand in hand with workers' accommodation is that they have buses picking them up and parking on site. Could we possibly get the movers and seconds of the motion put a condition on it that no bus parking to be in the site? It's not on the plan anywhere, on the permit anywhere. I think that's something that needs to do it. The people that live in the houses next door to it, they've complained to me about the buses going up the driveway and parking there and starting up and coming out, and drive straight past their bedrooms and wakes them up every day. And they would think that it's okay to be workers' accommodation, but there's a bus park across the road. They can pick up the workers from across the road instead of going up into that residential area, I suppose. As some advice from the officer.
Yeah, so with the original application, I did ask whether they'd be having buses come to site, and they said no. So that's part of their application is that they're not having buses. If we find that they do, then that's something we can deal with this
I'm
compliance.
sure we can do that because we see up in other parts of the town, Cressy, where they say that the person that lives there, he drives the bus. And we've got rules in our municipality that if they're driving the bus, they're allowed to park it on the place where they live. So they put one person there as the bus driver, and then they can drive the bus up and park up there in the truck and that type of stuff that they have. So I'd like to see something a bit stronger than that in there, and I think we need to probably have something written down there to stop them parking up there.
What do the planners?
Toyota Coaster,
So,
a small one.
would it be any different to a car?
No, it mightn't be. But at the moment, they park a big bus up there.
Our planners are going to give us some guidance.
Yeah,
Just as a point of clarification, within the planning scheme, there's no provisions to necessarily prohibit the use of registered vehicles parking within a private property. As you'd be aware from the example you provided that, other people, when it's their sole vehicle, are allowed to park on the site. The scheme in this circumstance allows for a certain number of large vehicle movements, so being over 5.5 metres in length. It does allow for a certain number of those to occur on a site in an annual sense without requiring additional measures within the scheme. So it's not necessarily straightforward to try and prohibit something that the scheme does allow for. But I do understand your concerns. It's just in terms of the zone allows or requires parking on site, which it does provide for. And because the applicants have stated that they're not intending to have the larger vehicles, the Australian standard just requires vehicle bays to be in accordance with the Australian standard, which is more for your B85 vehicles and things, your standard station wagons. So it's just a little tricky when they've stated that they're not going to have buses but the scheme allowing them to have buses to sort of prohibit it through a scheme, through a condition.
So I'm hearing you saying it's not in the planning scheme. Doesn't mean that we can't put something in there though. We can still put something in there.
When that can be appealed, it can be appealed.
For the condition, basically, for the condition to meet the 10-wood test.
Why would they appeal it if they're not going to park?
Because they're allowed to do it.
If they intend to do it, then they will appeal it. At the moment, they park big buses up there.
They're allowed
Big
to.
buses. They can taxi what? They're allowed to.
Sounds like there's nothing much we can do about it. Yeah.
Like the trucks.
Okay, Councillor Lambert, you had your hand up before? Okay, sorry. And Councillor Archer.
What we can do is don't support the recommendation because it's a rezoning of the area, which we can do.
Plan changing the permit, yeah. Any further discussion from somebody who hasn't spoken? All right, Councillor McCullough, do you wish
Yeah, I
to
just
sum up?
wanted to clarify, can we actually mark the plan, Paul? So that we're very clear on where the driveway's supposed to, you put a line through there or mark it up, just so that we've got complete clarity?
Measurements.
Yeah.
Had a map there with the,
They had the
Just so that
measurements.
we don't shoot ourselves in the foot. So I'll just put a
Yeah,
line
in the
through.
attachments.
I'll just put a line through like that.
Yeah, that one. That shows the,
Yeah, it's just, that's not too bad, but I think you can get in, I think you can get a little bit more of the green there,
Carrying it around further.
carry it around further. Those two lefts and rights.
Well, in that case, we'd want a condition telling them to give us a revised plan, marking up those areas.
Yeah, I just think we want to be totally clear, so there's no disputes.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean we're refusing it, they just need to.
Yeah.
Need to be aware of noise issues
As
with
recommended.
buses as well.
So if we, it doesn't matter what it's numbered, so you can make a condition 5. Sorry, last condition will be condition 7. I'm just looking for the most logical way to do it. We've got condition 1, endorsed plans. If we go for condition, add it to 3, it's relevant to 3, yeah, okay.
Haven't we got it on there already?
In text version, sort of, but I think what
I don't
Councillor
want
McCullough is saying is
misinterpretation.
it's not quite clear just on that point of the endorsed plan. That only shows one point and it doesn't quite say, what angle you want it to stop, sort of thing.
So I think then it'll be a 3.4, prior to the commencement of the use. Revised plans must be submitted.
Showing areas to be sealed.
Yep, showing areas to be sealed and areas to be gravelled in accordance with condition 3.1 and 3.2. Yep.
Good, thank you. Everybody's happy with that?
And sorry, just, it should also say, we can either say to the satisfaction of council, which would have to bring it back to a council meeting, or you could give it to the acting GM or myself as senior planner to. So, satisfaction of the senior planner.
Everyone's happy with that? All right, I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour? Against? Councillor Goss is against. The motion's carried.
I move recommendation.
Off the next one, hang on a second. That we move out of planning. Yes. Okay, we're moving out of planning. Councillor Adams and Councillor McCullough. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. I've lost my place
I
here.
remove that 13.1.
13.1, the monthly
Yeah,
report.
I move the recommendation and we note the report.
So councillor Adams is moving that. Is there a seconder? Councillor McCullough. Any discussion, any questions? No, I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour? Against? Carried. 40.1 is policy review council CCTV program and code of practice. And we do have a recommendation there from the officers that we endorse the minor amendments to the CCTV program and code of practice policy. Mover? Councillor, thanks, Councillor Adams.
It's about tidying up
And
something here.
yes, about tidying it up.
Something.
Councillor McCullough, you're seconding?
Order.
Okay, Councillor Adams, do you wish to speak to it?
Well, thank you, Mayor. And I think it's about tidying up the policy, the code of practice policy, and I understand that we're getting to where we're getting a closer relationship with the police on our cameras, and that these things can work in the interest of overcoming some of the problems we have with the vandalism and other issues.
Councillor McCullough, did you? Councillor Terry.
I have a question to the officers, just clarifying what's been highlighted, because I had trouble finding it in there, exactly what has been changed.
I think it was only a date.
That's what I thought. There's only a date,
Really minor.
and that's why I was a bit confused about exactly what was happening.
No further discussion. I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Okay, 14.2 is the policy review of work health and safety and employee wellbeing. And the recommendation is that the council endorse the updated work health and safety and employee wellbeing policy. Councillor Terrett, you're moving that. Councillor Adams is seconding. Any discussion, Councillor Terrett?
No, I think it's important that staff have access to childcare, and whilst there is no limit on it, I think it's reasonable, but it needs to index as childcare gets.
I think it's the same as how we keep staff and how we keep the staff that we have, and anything like this is another added bonus to that, and for our officers to do that on their engagement.
Any further discussion? I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour? Against? Carried. 14.3 is the council calendar, 2026 schedule of council meetings and workshop dates. Councillor McCullough, you're moving that?
Yep.
Councillor Lambert is seconding. Any discussion, questions? Councillor Archer.
My query was, obviously next year there is elections. Do we move meetings subject to election dates, or is that something that is adjusted next
Well,
year?
those dates are set.
These dates are set,
Right.
so.
So that would change if it clashed with the election.
Well, the election will be, the new councillors will come in on the 1st of November, so the 16th will be fine.
Oh, right.
Yeah. We may have to have a special one in between for induction.
Oh, the bus tour date.
Yeah, bus tour
date.
dates. And the Christmas function dates. We just need to choose one or the other, or a new one.
Bus it's usually around April, isn't it?
We've got 18th of March or the 1st of April suggested, or 25th of March.
April.
I don't think any of them are in school holidays, so you'd have to put it a little bit later if you wanted that.
March
Before
is
School
still,
Friday, isn't it?
Any ideas, anyone?
March the 25th.
Yeah.
customary meeting.
Well, you know, you've got the wish.
You always want to change it later. What day have you decided, what did you say?
March the 25th.
March 25th.
That's it, right.
And the Christmas function, 19th of November or 26th of November,
26th of November.
26.
Okay, we're going to have you. I'll put the recommendation. We did have a mover in a second, no, did we have a mover? Yes, we did, yes. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Annual general meeting date to be on 5 p.m. on Monday, the 15th of December 2025. Councillor Lambert moving that. Councillor Archer is seconding. Any discussion? Councillor Terry.
I'd like to see the annual general meeting be moved around the council area. I've raised in previous years. I think it's a good opportunity to move it to other towns, such as, so that other areas do have opportunity to actually ask us questions and also go through some of the things of that annual general meeting. And we haven't, given it's 50 kilometres away, Ross and Campbelltown down in the southern area would be a good way of doing it. I believe that we should be moving these things around, and therefore I will be voting against this motion if the matter is in Longford.
I'll just comment to say that we haven't yet got their audit complete, so we've gone back to Tas Audit Office this year, and obviously their workload's a lot more than a private contractor, so we still haven't got our financials signed off yet, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks, and we really won't have any time to do it before the 15th of December this year. Unfortunately.
Any further discussion from anybody? We wouldn't have the technical expertise to have the meeting down in Ross or somewhere, would we? Could at Campbelltown, perhaps?
Yeah, probably would at Campbelltown, but it's just the organisational.
Maybe you'd have to plan it at the beginning of the year for the end of the year. Councillor Goss.
I don't support what Councillor Turner said. I think this is where we have a meeting for people to come in, so I wouldn't support it. I'm happy with the motion that's on the books up there.
Councillor Lambert.
I was just going to say, no, I forgot what I was going to say. It's all right.
All right, I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour? Against? Councillor Terrett's against. The motion's carried. The submission to the Office of Local Government around the reform to councillor numbers and allowances. I'd just like to say up front that in the submission, I can't find where I put it, but the council numbers for in the letter that's going to be sent on my behalf, on behalf of council, the draft letter, states council numbers going from 9 down to 5, but that's not what's suggested for our council. It was 9 down to 7. Okay, a mover and a seconder. Councillor
As
Terry.
per A, agree to the submission, the enclosed submission to the Department of Premier and Cabinet as written with that minor amendment.
And a second, Councillor Adams. Any discussion? Councillor Andrews.
I just wanted to say that it was an excellent letter. You know, we talked about it at workshop, and what came out the other end was excellent, reflected everybody's views. It's good.
And just to make it clear too, the issues we brought up about other things being as important, that discussion paper's out now as well. All right, no further discussion. I'll put that recommendation. All those in favour? Against?
Sorry, excuse me.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, no, it's okay, it's not there, it's okay.
I'm having IT difficulties. I might need to,
Get my piece of paper.
no,
I can say that
Restart.
I attended a general managers meeting on this topic, and the main issue across the state seems to be having a quorum with the reduced numbers.
Okay, I'll put that recommendation again. Everyone was in favour except Councillor Terrett. Everybody's happy with that?
Yes.
Yes, now.
so Councillor Terrett moved.
Yes,
Oh,
no, it wasn't
previous
Councillor
vote,
Terry.
I moved
You moved, but you're against the recommendation?
No, I moved that one.
Oh, sorry,
The one motion before I was against.
Okay, beg your pardon, I'm
So
confused.
I've got Paul Terry Councillor
And Councillor Adams seconded, and everybody, I'll put it again. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against?
I'm not against it.
Okay.
I just want to touch on what Marie, is that still this item, isn't it, about, you're talking about worrying about a quorum?
Yes.
Well, doesn't that hold more weight then to being able to come in remotely? Is that something that the local government are talking about?
That's coming up in the next discussion round.
Oh, yeah, because it sort of, it
That's
does
separate
go,
to this one.
but it does sort of go hand in hand if, you know, if you're reducing the numbers, if you want a quorum, you need to be flexible with, you know.
It is in the next round, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, carried. The next one is the monthly financial statement. Councillor McCullough is moving and Councillor Adams is seconding. Any discussion, questions? No? Councillor Goss?
Just previous meetings, I've mentioned about the planning charges we have and the building charges we have, about getting those reviewed. We haven't heard any back from that. Is that going to be
It'll go to our next workshop,
next week? Thank you.
and hopefully after that it will go to the back to council.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll put that recommendation. All those in favour? Oh, you got another question, Councillor Goss?
I just noticed that the wages bill down so far is down 225,000. Is that because this time of year we don't have as many employees, or is it just the way it's worked out? We're not spending as much as we budgeted for.
Yeah, obviously the budget here, year to date, is just divided by 12 months. So it could be changes, because obviously at some period people will be going on leave and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and things like the swimming pool people are not working at the
Coming
moment,
on.
so they'll come online, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour? Against? Carried. 15.2, the budget review, the waste transfer station fees, and there is a recommendation there that Council accept the amendment to the Northern Midlands Council fees and charges 2025 to 2026 to include updated pricing provided below for the Longford Waste Transfer Station, and there's the rest of it there. Councillor Adams is moving. Councillor Archer is seconding. Councillor Adams, do you wish to say anything?
Well, I believe we've got to get on top of this, and I think the officers have done a great job in waste stations up and moving so that we've got a proper process. I was in the south recently and bought some river stones and put my car and trailer over a weighbridge, and then got charged $5.50 for the stones that was put in the back. So, it's a scientific process, and people might object to the cost, but at least and also tips are not what they used to be, and we have to, as a council, get on top of this, and people culturally understand that tips cost money, waste costs money, and we have to deal with them. I don't know if I can mention it here, but I don't know if we've got a container machine taking plastic and tins anywhere in our municipality.
Campbelltown.
Oh, Campbelltown, I did
But
see
it's not working properly.
Right, okay. That's something we can probably look at in the future.
I think on a Saturday they let everybody take all their stuff because it didn't work quite as well it should have. Councillor Archer, did you wish to speak?
I'll just say that this is a very difficult area to get completely right. This situation where everyone's got to accept some responsibility for waste, and the council's, I think, trying a new option here, which may have some teething issues, but I think overall, if it gives less stress to people at the tip, I've witnessed some pretty nasty arguments at tips, and I'm sure we'll be reviewing it in time, but I think it does make it a lot clearer to people in regards to what the costs will be.
Councillor Lambert.
Thank you, Mayor. I think the concept is a very good concept. I think obviously there'll be some issues that need to be ironed out. But one issue that I can see is the fact that part of this recommendation is to restrict the Evandale tip to Evandale and Nile people only. I think that is going to cause some angst and some stress to people, particularly those who might use the Evandale tip when the Longford tip's closed, for example. I believe the Longford tip doesn't operate 7 days a week. I think it should. If we're going to make these changes, I think we should be looking at opening the tip 7 days a week to allow full access for everyone. I know there are people that don't necessarily live in Evandale and Nile who use that tip because it is the closest tip to them. So I think there are going to be some issues there in regards to those people. And I've been contacted by a few of those people and asked what's going on, how am I going to be able to do this. I believe the Evandale tip opens Tuesdays and Thursdays where the Longford tip doesn't. I'd like to see that reviewed to look at opening the Longford tip for 7 days a week. My other concern is how are we going to, the report didn't really talk about how this was going to happen, the tin tax, you get onto the weighbridge and how that process is going to work. So how as a council are we going to explain that to all of our members of our municipalities so everyone has a clear understanding of what to expect when they go to the Longford tip, for example. How is that going to operate when I drive in with my trailer load of rubbish? What does that mean for me now? It's a very new process, and I think as part of our communication to our community, we need to be looking at how we can make it simple and clear and easy. I don't know whether it'll be updating our website, putting out flyers, doing some media. It's a big change for people. For those two reasons that I've mentioned. So I'd like some comments on how we're going to communicate these changes ongoing, and also some comments about is it possible to look at opening the Longford tip for those 2 days where we're going to be restricting people who would normally use the Evandale tip as their tip who won't be able to now.
Well, firstly, with the promotion of it, obviously we're waiting for the fees to be set, and then we can start educating the community on what's going to happen. Basically, there's been 2 weigh bridges installed at the tip, or in the process of, and people will drive in, be weighed, their car and their trailer. They'll empty, have instructions where to empty, they'll empty, come back out and be weighed again, and the difference in the kilos will be charged at this rate per kilo. So it's very simple. There'll be just one way in and out. There'll be and they'll be swiped as they come out to pay by FPOS, and we will promote that as soon as these rates are charged. The rates have been based on. We've looked at other councils in the region, and they've been based on those, as well as what we estimated was being dumped there at the present time. Obviously, we pay a rate because all our waste goes to City of Launceston. We pay a rate in there, and we've set the fees to the equivalent rate as Launceston, because we have to pay that when we send it there. But on top of that, we have to pay for transport. We have to pay for the wages for the operation of the tips of the waste transfer station. So by far, it's not recovering all the costs, but it is going part way to there. There will be people that pay more because they take heavy loads, but there will be people that take bulky loads and charge a full trailer load, but it's very light, so they'll pay less. So it will take a little while for people to understand how the charges have changed, but I'm sure One thing is that everybody be fair because they're paying on the kilo. And for the second question with Evandale has got a very low patronage, and we believe that there may be a little bit of teething, and it will be a soft transition to this to only allowing Evandale people or the former Evandale council area to use the Evandale tip. But I'm sure that people will get used to it very quickly, and I know it's unfortunate that, if you was really stuck and you could rush over to Evandale on a Tuesday or a Thursday, but people will soon get used to it, I think, and if we did open, we can review the hours at the Longford Waste Transfer Station, but bear in mind it would be extra cost because we can't make the same people work 7 days a week at Longford, and we would have to employ more staff.
Councillor Brooks.
First question, does Evandale tip make a profit? Is it viable to even have a tip open at Evandale? I know Meander Valley closed the tip at Clune and they've only got the one at Delarade. Launceston have one tip out at Remount Road. They haven't got one at Youngtown for people to go. So if someone wants to go to the tip from Youngtown, they've got quite a trip. No different to Evandale people coming to Longford. Then, so that's the first question. Is it viable to close that tip and make Longford 7 days a week? There's an option. I don't know if it's been looked at. The second question is, I know I do, and I'm sure other councillors do, get a lot of disgruntled people that go to the tip and get charged one fee on one day, and then the next day they go with a similar amount of rubbish and get charged a different fee. So I'm sure that the weighbridge will be a pleasant experience for not only the user, but for the people operating it as well. Because I'm like Councillor Archer, I've seen some heated debates and I've even experienced the difference in the pricing structure of who's on the gate at the time when you go through. So I think the whole process there will be really well managed. It'll take a lot of stress out of going to the tip now. You pay for what you've got on, whether it's a trailer load and it's a light load like the General Manager said. It only weighs hardly anything. Well, you're not going to get charged much, but it might look like a lot in the trailer. So in that respect, I'm sure that people will probably pay less money, because from my experience, and I've used Launceston tip a fair bit as well, that it's cheaper sometimes for me to go to Launceston tip rather than come to Longford, because of you didn't know who was going to be on the gate at the time and what you were going to get charged. So that's the sort of thing. But I'd like to know whether it was looked at that if you closed Evandale tip and made Longford tip open 7 days a week, is that a better option than leaving the tip open at Evandale for only Evandale residents? And it's not that far to drive to Longford for your rubbish if it's open 7 days a week and you're getting charged the proper fee. I'm not sure what the costs are at Evandale to take all the stuff away from Evandale to take it into town. Who's the person that knows all that information?
Well, certainly with the none of our waste transfer stations are making money. Then they're all subsidised, and obviously we've changed. The bulk of the waste comes to Longford, and we've changed that with implementing the weighbridges. And I think every 12 months at least we should be reviewing all our waste transfer stations, and maybe there is some changes in the future.
Yeah, because I know when they changed to shut down the Clune tip, obviously people were probably a bit annoyed about that, but it's just a sign of the times,
Councillor Terrett.
Yeah, I think it's important that we do get cost recovery in relation to waste transfer stations. We increased our rates at this financial year by 3.5% in relation to waste, and imposed a $25 fee on top of our rates this year.
No, we didn't.
Well, we had a fee for...
That was one of the things that council considered, but
Yes. Okay, sorry, thank you. Well, I stand corrected. But I think one of the things is cost recovery is important, and I think the weight bridges will be actually beneficial for people actually going to and from. I do have a concern, and I share Councillor Lambert's concerns in relation to only having Evandale open for Evandale and Knoll people. People in Devon Hills, Perth, Western Junction, Range Road, all go down to that tip, and I think that we're opening ourselves into some very difficult situations if only allowing the Evandale people. I think it's one of those things we need to review. Even if this motion is passed, we need to review this to see if it's changed that behaviour or not. I'd prefer not to see the section B there, because I think we can see if it does have an impact. I'm very cynical about the fact that this will have an impact at all on Evandale, because just having to drive from Longford across to Evandale is going to cost some people additional funds. The other thing that we are having at the moment is our hard waste collection, which is for pensioners, which comes up in November, for a December collection, and I think that's one way of at least assisting pensioners to maybe not having these charges imposed on them, and I think that's a very good thing that the council is doing. A lot of pensioners don't know about it, and I think it's an opportunity that we should also make people aware of this once a year service, what we do have as well, and comes back to communications and letting people know how this new system operates and what we're trying to keep the prices down, but unfortunately waste is an ever increasing cost, and the more recycling we can do, the lower we can get our costs.
I'm happy to change the wording just to make it more clearer for the Evandale transfer station. Instead of Evandale Nile district, you could possibly put the former Evandale council area.
And just to clarify, what would that actually encompass?
Well, it actually includes my place. Stuff you couldn't get there.
So that includes Western Junction and I think even Range Road, Mill Road, or at least half of it, and at the White Hills, that area as well.
Councillor Goss, yes, you're next.
I've got a couple of questions. The first one is just about, could you please explain why the concrete and rubble stuff is 130 a cubic, whereas waste is 202?
We crush that on site. Currently we crush it once and we can use it for only a limited amount of things. We're investigating whether we can crush it twice to make it even better and use it on some of our footpath programs and that sort of thing.
Next question is going to be, the second question is about, will Evandale Tip be running at the same costs?
No, Evandale won't change from what the costs are at the moment.
Yeah,
we're not proposing any change.
For me, then it really looks inequitable when you've got a large tandem trailer load at Evandale. It's going to cost you $51, and I might be reading along. Yeah, that's $51. And if you had a large trailer load at Longford, which might be a tonne, it's going to cost you $202. So it's going to be 4 times more expensive. So I do think that what this report shows to me is that we haven't been charging enough at Longford Tip for a long time, and we haven't been getting anywhere near the cost recovery what we should have been getting, and I do think we need to increase the prices of the Evandale refuse site up to something which is more similar in line with the Longford site, and the same with Campbelltown site as well. They should be all the same. They're waste transfer stations, and they all should be around about the same cost. And I think that's something we need to do. So I'm not going to support this until that comes back to council with some more better recommendations around that. The other waste transfer station, I don't think any councillor should support it until that comes back to us, because what we're going to have is a real discrepancy between one waste transfer station compared to the other one. And the reason you're locking people out of, from the other areas of the municipality out of Evandale, is because it'd be much cheaper to take your rubbish to Evandale than what it would be to go to Longford. That's because it's not the same. So we need to take it away, this report, and bring it back to council and get it fixed up, both sides, same.
Who hasn't spoken?
I'll sum up.
Councillor Adams, would you wish to sum up?
Thank you. I just wanted to mention, I think the debate's been good and starting to focus on a major cost in the future if we don't get on top of this, and those that we have. I just wanted to mention that I see a lot of bins that have got the lid up and bags placed on the top. I don't know if we need to do something about letting people know that the contractor's contract for the lid closed. I know there's some bins that are probably not full, but having I understand that the contractors will refuse to take them, but I think we may need a bit of an educational process to put out with our rate notice or whatever on that. Thank you.
Before I put the recommendation, Ms Bricknell may have an answer for Councillor Goss.
Oh, I was just going to say that at Evandale, the charging for Evandale and Campbelltown, obviously they've got to be an average cost because some loads are heavy and some are light, and the charges don't differentiate between them. So the charges do seem like they're lower, and I think they're about we're going to charge $202 per tonne at Longford. I think we're charging on our estimates at the moment about the $130 to $140 a tonne. But the loads have got to average out because some are very light because it could be cardboard, and the other one, or it might be a stump, which is heavy as. So it's very difficult to get them the same, but we think that they're not too far out.
Can I ask a secondary question to Ms Bricknell? Would that be okay?
Yes, item question, yes.
I still won't be supporting it as it is, but I'll say that if it does get through, can we please have some data then from how much we've been collecting at Evandale and Campbelltown and how much is it costing to dispose of it, just to see if our figures that you've done are anywhere near parity for the both of them. So I think that's something we need to have in the future. Thank you.
Okay, I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against?
Aye.
Councillor Goss and Councillor Brooks. The motion's carried. We've got a break for meal now. Yep, we'll break for our meal break. Come back at 1:45.
Sorry,
sorry, Ben.
are we coming back to
Yes.
a closed council?
No, we've got a couple of more items.
First,
There's only one item left. Excuse me, Ben, there's only one item left, so how about we do that before we break for a meal? Then the people can be happy with us. Okay, that's a good idea. Okay, 16.1, proposed speed limit reduction, Hobart Road, Kerry Lodge Bridge to Youngtown Municipal Boundary. And the recommendation is that council request the Transport Commissioner to consider reducing the speed limit on Hobart Road from 80 kilometres an hour to 60 kilometres an hour from Kerry Lodge Bridge to the Youngtown Municipal Boundary. Do any of the officers want to make comment before we discuss it? Sorry. Got a mover and a seconder. Over to you.
So the report there just to reduce the speed limit from Kerry Lodge Bridge to the municipal boundary at Hobart Road there to the city of Launceston. In conjunction that there will be a new shared pathway that's adjoining to the side of the road there in that particular area. So that's the reason for the speed reduction.
And we've got a mover and a seconder. Councillor Adams, Councillor McCullough. Councillor Adams, do you wish to speak first?
No, I think this is straightforward, and there was some discussion, but I don't think anything's changed to what's on here. Quite happy to do that. I think good notion the object is to get somebody can ride a bike from Launceston to the Launceston airport and put his bike on the side of the plane and then fly it home.
Councillor McCullough, did you wish to speak?
Yeah, no, it's pretty straightforward. That area, as we heard earlier tonight, had a few accidents, so it's got a funeral parlour out there, so I don't think there's any real dramas. It's not a highly utilised piece of road, I wouldn't have thought, with the outlet next door, but I might be wrong on that, but pretty basic to me.
Councillor Terrett.
I'm just concerned that the speed limit over the Kerry Lodge Bridge, and I'll stand if I'm not correct here, that will still stay 80 kilometres across the Kerry Lodge Bridge. And it may be better to put the 60 on the side before going across the Kerry Lodge Bridge. It is a heritage bridge. And
Into Launceston.
into Launceston, so that you don't have fast traffic. It does narrow in that point, and 60 on the other side of the bridge before you get to Kerry Lodge Bridge.
Southern side.
The southern side. It would be a better location because it protects the bridge and it's very narrow going across the Kerry Lodge Bridge.
The recommendation as per the report is it reduces from 100 to 80 just before Kerry Lodge, and then the 60 sign will be on the Kerry Lodge Bridge on the southern side. So you will travel over the bridge at 60.
They clarified, I thought, it was on the north side.
Councillor Brooks?
Is there any chance of reducing that speed limit? You said 100 to 80 to reduce the speed limit from the roundabout to Spiky Bridge from 100 to 80? Because there's a lot of traffic and it is dangerous turning right into Marchington Road? If you're coming that way, there's no, it is a safety concern. And now, I don't know if you've done any homework on that stretch of road.
Works Manager?
A report come to council previously about reducing that down to 80 kilometres an hour. Council voted against it.
Yeah. Doesn't mean we can't revisit it now, given. Can be brought back to council when the next stages of the Hobart Road shared pathway is proposed. Because there's a lot of heavy vehicles now with the quarry and different things that are using that stretch of road. And if you are trying to turn right into Marchington Road, I think it is, there's not two lanes there that you can get out of the way. You can't get out of the way, is there? There's no turning lane.
Let them come back in the next stage.
Councillor Lambert's next.
Thank you, Mayor. I think this is a really sensible path to take. In the report, it talks about adding 15 seconds to people's travel time, so it's minimal travel time. But I think what it does is it gives vulnerable road users, our walkers and our cyclists, the opportunity to participate as road users in a safe way. And so what this is doing is considering the safety for all users of the road. So I think it's a really sensible outcome. I would like to see that report come back as well about when the second stage comes through, about looking again at the speed limits, because I think that would be a sensible path for us to take when it comes back. So I support the motion.
Councillor Archer?
Look, I don't support moving the 60 back to the bridge. I agree it needs to be down near Finney's entrance there, somewhere on that corner. But in regards to speed limits, until there's a vastly increased number of people using these shared pathways, I'm not sure why the whole community has to suffer. It might only be 15 seconds, but I know with the 80 kilometres out Nillawarra Road and the speed limit through to the Perth bypass, people are getting frustrated, people are getting booked, and it's all for a situation of safety. The accident reports might justify it. There's been lots of accidents there, but I'm not sure whether it's speed always that's the cause. And as far as I'm concerned, we're making decisions without enough information in regards to safety. There's no reason, if the shared pathway is 20 metres away from the road, why we need to have the traffic going at 60 kilometres an hour for some of this road. So I would go against the motion.
Yeah.
Councillor Adams, do you wish to sum up?
I'd like to talk.
You wish as well?
Yeah, I'd
Oh, yes,
support
sorry. Yes, Councillor Adams.
Councillor Archer's comments, we've changed a lot of roads, speeds around our municipality, and it really is quite bizarre. You've got some roads which are as wide as this room, and you can, two sides as wide as this room, and you can only do 80 kilometres, and out the, Cressy, you can do 100 kilometres on a road which is only as wide as this table for 2 lanes, so it's just a bit, and just changing just for the sake of changing it. I'd like to see some of the data on how many accidents are there and what was the cause of them. So I won't be supporting this either. And I definitely don't support changing the speed limit on Marching in Road from where it's any different probably now. Thank you.
Well, to sum up now,
Councillor Andrews, you didn't wish to say anything?
No.
Councillor Adams?
Vehicles going slower saves lives and injuries. That's a proven fact, and all traffic people will tell you that. So, when we went from 60 to 50, that saved a lot of people. I don't know what the stats were out of hospitals and broken pieces of human beings, but I think there's evidence here that that is a dangerous area, and bringing it back to 60. There's also the heritage issue of Kerry Bridge, made for horses and carts, and now we have probably B doubles occasionally going over there, and there is quarry down the road. There is also a fitters doing diesel mechanics down there doing work. So I think it's it's a good idea. This road is not a major road. It's not the highway. If you want to be on the highway and do 110, you can get down there. So I think this is a sensible, a good approach.
Okay, I'm going to put that recommendation. All those in favour? Against? Councillor Goss, Councillor Andrews and Councillor Archer, you're against? Yep, so 3 against. The motion's carried. Okay, thank you to everybody who's been listening, and we will go back for our meal break and come back to close council meeting.